Hello and welcome to Channels Book Club. My name is Oluwagbire Kasumo, and it's always great to be on the show. Welcome. And those of you who have been writing us through our social media platforms, we really appreciate you. Keep them coming. Those of you who have stuck to this show for many years, just keep watching Channels Book Club and sending us feedback and encouraging words. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Those of you who are just getting started, don't you go away. Well, this is the show where we discuss all things books, and we've got one for us today. Now, what exactly happens behind the scenes when you see nations at war, whether we're talking about military war or economic war? What exactly is going on? Is the world one big chessboard with countries either kings or queens or rooks or bishops or knights or pawns? Which one are you? That question goes to every country out there, including ours here, Nigeria. Are we bishops or rooks or kings or queens or just pawns? Well, there is a book that I have found very eye-opening, incredible in its description of what is actually going on the global chessboard, so to speak. What exactly is going on? Where are we as a country in Nigeria in the scheme, in the international and the global scheme of things? How do we need to begin to rethink? How do we need to reposition ourselves? These are heavy stuff. You'll find them in the book right there on your screen. And we're about to talk to its author, Rear Admiral, who has gone to great lengths to write this fantastic must-read book. I will not say much. Let's get to meet with him and then enjoy this book, Shadows of Power. Sola, nice to have you on Channels Book Club.
Thank you very much, Sir K.
You're a Rear Admiral, so...
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Nice to have you here.
Yeah.
I mean, before we dive into Shadows of Power, I'm always keen on just having a little peek into that life of the life you've experienced as a professional, as a naval officer. Just a little bit of what brought you here. What's the story, that path?
So growing up, I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to be a doctor, but I ended up being a soldier, a naval officer. My father was actually in the Nigerian army, but I said I was never going to be in the army.
Why?
I just wanted to be different.
Okay.
I wanted to be in the Navy. Then lastly, I wanted to be a James Bond. And I discovered that James Bond was actually a commander in the Royal Navy.
Yeah.
And so I went like this, I went like that, from medicine to Nigerian Navy. And so after 33 years, I became a Rear Admiral and I'm here.
Wow. Wow. So the path for you was via
NDA, Nigerian Defense Academy.
Wow. Great, great, great. So, well, so much to talk about, but so little time. Shadows of Power is a book you have written. You know, when I read this book, to be honest with you, it saddened me more than any other thing because it got me thinking about Nigeria. Yeah, while on the one hand, one gets the impression from your book that we live in a country with tremendous potential. But on the other hand, one sees how weak and vulnerable we are due to many years, that have led us, national decisions that have led us to where we are at the moment. But we'll talk about that a bit. Shadows of Power. What's the story behind this book, and introduce it to viewers?
So in the year 2017, I started a PhD research into how the major powers, how Nigeria's relations with them influence our national security. And the deeper I dug into it, the more I felt the urge that I must put these things together for all to see. So essentially, it's about how relations with major powers, China, Russia, France, United Kingdom, United US, affects Nigeria's national security. So that's basically the story behind Shadows of Power.
Okay, so I mean, let's dive in. Let's dive in.
Yeah.
Give us some general hints, as you have written here, how that relationship affects us as a country. Maybe those relationships.
Yeah. Maybe case by case basis. Essentially, our armed forces they are almost 99% dependent on imported hardware. So if a country today says no more hardware for you, we have to really strategize. Then also, when we get weapons from from various sources, pot puree, it affects your doctrine, it affects who you can fight with. This country will give you weapons and say you cannot use it against these people. Before America gave us the helicopters and the Tucano aircraft, say you must use it in a certain way. If you use it in a certain way, they come and question us, they come and query us, then they say, okay, they will stop giving us parts, things like that. So that's one way. Then when the country's president comes on the air and tells you that, okay, gentlemen, you guys are going to vote, or I urge all of you to think properly before you vote. Don't vote the party. No, I'm just extrapolating now. Don't vote the party with the board. Vote the party with the us, like that. You hear me? Otherwise, we will ban your visa. We will stop. So things like that. So
basically, what I've read here and what it's saying is that we are too dependent. The example you use now, for example, military hardware. Yeah. We are too dependent.
Yeah.
We get 99% from XYZ countries. And if they decide not to give to us, we're in trouble.
Yeah, 100%.
And we could multiply that in various other sectors.
Yeah.
And you mentioned critical sectors like
telecoms,
technology, for example. Yeah. We are too dependent, right?
Yeah. Well, for technology now, I think 70 or 90% of our backbone is in the hands of a country's suppliers, China. So if something happens with relationships with them, then what happens to our communications backbone? So things like that are just vulnerable, we are exposed. Somebody said the giant is crippled now. The giant has clay feet now. But my joy, like we had discussed before you came on the show, is that giant can still rise again. So it can still turn around again. So basically, you have to move from strategic dependence to strategic autonomy. Where you can say, okay, I don't want this, and this, and this. I want to do this my own way. And like someone was saying, it's not every gift that they offer you that must accept now. You have to be able to do what is right for you, basically. Because all nations have permanent interests and not permanent friends. So, and they can love you more than you love yourself. So you have to do what is best for you. Even at times, that may hurt them. But there comes to a position where you need to say, okay, let me do this for my people and let this one go.
Okay, but let's explore that a little bit because it's perhaps the central theme of your book. You call it, is it Nigeria First
Doctrine.
Yeah. And President Obasanjo, in his foreword, he said he disagreed with your usage of that term, of that expression.
He said he called his own.
Maybe he's not a big fan of Donald Trump.
He called his own.
Because when I read your Nigeria First, my mind went to America First. And he said that he disagrees. with the expression of that word, usage of that. Where did he write that now?
Let's see.
Yes, here we go. While I understand the author's argument for Nigeria First doctrine, I would prefer Nigeria Interests Predominant doctrine.
Yes.
And I said to myself when I read that, you're actually saying the same thing, just using different expressions. Maybe he doesn't like the Nigeria First.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminds you of America First. So it depends on where you are with that whole idea of America First. You probably will agree or disagree with your Nigeria First doctrine.
Yeah. So it's also, we had the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs State come for the book launch some 2 days ago, and he said that it's actually not new, that's what we have been practicing for some time. But maybe we need to get it more explicit, more out there.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, the bottom line is that let us put the country first, whether it's Nigeria interest first or Nigeria first or what, but let Nigeria be the primary.
That's the idea.
The reason for which our foreign policy, the reason for which the government is alive, let it be for Nigeria or for Nigerians, by whatever name is called.
Yeah, however we express it,
yes.
That's the idea, yes. Right? So when you say Nigeria First doctrine, you're talking about the need for us to now refocus on Nigeria.
Putting the country's interests first before the interest of our friends.
So how are we, or how have we not been putting Nigeria's interests first? How have we been putting the interests of our friends first?
When they come and build airports and infrastructure for us to use, that they will not use in their own countries. When they give us standards that are not accepted in their country, that they will not use in their own countries. When they give us loans at ridiculous rates that we accept and just say, let's make them happy and let them stay. When they bring all sorts of things and just come and dump here and we just pay them for that, definitely we're not putting Nigeria's interests.
Those are the things making us vulnerable.
Yes.
That's what you're trying to describe. You said that your trip, your deployment to Angola was a game changer for you in terms of the way you began to see the world and Nigeria as a whole. Can you share a bit of that?
So
you wrote about that here.
So one case study, even though the longest street in Luanda is named after General Murtala Mohammed.
Really?
Yes, the longest street in Luanda, because stories that we heard, that many times, not once, not twice, the country was on the verge of being run over, but Nigeria loaded C-130s with arms and ammunition and sent to the country. During the UNITA, MPLA, Cold War, blah, 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 blah. Not once, not twice. Also, we most times went against the rulings of the OAU then. We most times went against the ruling of the United States then in order to defend Angola. So we should be celebrated in the country, actually. But interestingly, I went there, the longest street anyway, named after Murtala Mohammed. But we went to their war museum one time, and apart from that, no traces of what Nigeria has done for that kind of country. So if this generation passes, just like in South Africa now, those there will not have any history of the sacrifice that was made by the Nigerian government to save their country. And we're going to see that, you say, now which you call your dog, 9 people, if you don't say, I'm me, and people don't ask you where you are. So it makes sense we have sacrificed. Also, like what happened in Sierra Leone and Liberia.
Ekumog and all that.
Yeah, I think last time I checked, it said that whether we spent $9 to $12 billion on it, but we woke up one day and we were kicked out by one president, and no Nigerian business, no Nigerian interest, there's no how we can hold them and say, what is our gain? Apart from being the good brother, the big brother next door, what's actually our gain in realistic physical terms?
So you are, I noticed that you challenge us to begin to approach international policies differently.
Like businessmen.
Like businessmen. Think Nigeria first.
No matter what. was in Pakistan for a year, 2014 to 2015, for my defense college. And in the class, the Pakistani instructors, they would tell us, Nigeria, what's wrong with you guys? You guys, you have so much money, but what are you doing? That Pakistan, we have digital money and we have nuclear power. So people waste so much money. What's wrong with you guys? You guys do something. You guys wake up. You guys do something. And Pakistan makes its own weapons, make their own arms, even though they have strategic relations, because every country should have that. But ultimately, they do what is good for them, basically. Pakistanis, they can disagree internally among themselves, but when they come out, they speak with one voice and one voice only. And they put Pakistan first before another thing.
By the way, your going to Angola was as
a defense attaché.
Yeah. Okay.
So I covered Angola, Namibia, Congo DRC, and Zambia, including the Gulf of Guinea Commission.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is Nigeria perceived in all those countries?
Very interesting question. So if you travel to Namibia and you land in the airport, maybe 7 out of 10 chances, when the cab puts on his radio, you're going to hear Davido singing. Maybe 7 out of 10. If you enter a shopping mall in Namibia, maybe 8 out of 10, when they're playing the music, it's going to be Davido or Burna Boy. When you enter a friend's house, maybe 6 out of 10, you're going to see Nollywood film movie being played. And interestingly, Namibia, a country of about 2 million people, most of their teachers, most of their professionals are Nigerians. But then again, that's Namibia. In Angola, they see us as very wonderful guys and too smart also. And on one hand, they love us, but on one hand, they kind of say, oh, these guys, be very careful. The first kidnap in Angola was unfortunately done by a Nigerian.
The first kidnapping crime or incidents they had was a Nigerian involved?
No, it was actually indicated, was actually pushed.
Executed by a Nigerian?
Yes. And that was in like 2018 or so. And the government don't want any of those things. And the story is that they dealt with it like that. But they see Nigerians as too smart, too wonderful people. So generally, they like us, but they are very cautious about us. And when we start to exhibit some traits, they feel challenged.
Okay, so you wrote here, interesting. Interesting. You wrote here that, let me read something that caught my attention. Yeah, Nigeria is a promise and a paradox, as powerful as it is precarious. Yet power alone is not enough, not in this world, not on this chessboard. If Nigeria is to move from being a prized piece to a powerful player, it must take itself seriously, as well as turn slogans into systems and speeches into strategies. Because in the world of geopolitics, no one gives you a seat. You claim it, you build it, you defend it. I love how you write.
Thank you.
You are undoubtedly, what I see through the pages of this book, you are quite very worried for Nigeria. Is that a correct perception? It sort of like oozes out to me through the pages. Like, you're not happy with what you're seeing. You feel like, hey, we can do more. Why are we here?
Particularly when you think you can do more. So there's worry on one hand, and also there's hope on the other hand. Because like I always say that, at least in my little life, I've seen Rwanda come from the brink of genocide to the wonderful nation they are today. I've also read about Singapore, what they did in 50 years. And I've been to Dubai, and I went to the airport and saw the pictures of how they advanced from 1970 to 2000. And I read too, I think in the book by their ruler, that there was a time that Nigeria borrowed them money, loan. And Nigeria told them to forget about it because they're just doing a friendly act to a brother in need. We giving UAE loan in USD and then forget about it. Then I also seen Ghana too. When I was in primary school, Ghanaians were roaming the streets, and then we are shoemakers, we are teachers and everything. And now, Ghanaian currency is much more than the Naira. So that tells me, like we were discussing before, that if you want to do it, it's possible. But look at so much potential, and yet, so much that we can do. So little that we are doing, and so much that we can do. So I think we can do it once we get our acts together. So, like I was just thinking some time ago that let's begin to do the things we are doing better. And let's, coming back to this, let's put Nigeria first.
No, your cover tells a lot about your book. You used the analogy of the chessboard. You play chess, by the way.
Interestingly, no.
You should learn. You know, the analogy here of the chessboard. You said Africa. Okay, first of all, explain this cover. There are some mysterious hands there.
So these are the two hands.
Yeah.
Pulling the hands in the shadows.
The hands in the shadows.
Pulling.
They represent the world powers? Or?
Yes, the world powers, the 5 of them. Pulling the strings and moving the pieces around Nigeria in the way that they want to. And the king is just all there. All his own soldiers, all his own pieces have been taken out, and she's all surrounded by these other pieces. And of course, this is the security of Nigeria, and just looking how they are influencing its security, and hoping that I can do more.
You say here that Nigeria is not Africa and Nigeria. Well, you use the word Africa. That Africa is not the player. Africa is a chessboard. Is that correct?
Continue.
Something like that. So
Okay.
I don't know if you can remember. I could read it out. If I didn't mark it, I would have read it out. But the impression I had is that Africa is the board on which they are playing.
Yes.
Is that the illustration you had in mind, the analogy you had in mind?
Yeah.
We are not the players.
Yeah.
We are the chessboard where the game is being played.
They're playing on us.
Is that correct?
Yeah. So, case study: a country like Djibouti, population 1.2 million, area I think about 23,000 square kilometers, and yet on this Djibouti, in the Horn of Africa, there are 5 countries that have permanent military bases there, and 4 that have rotational bases there. So if 9 countries have bases on one country that is less than 30 square kilometers, imagine the kind of pressure that those people will experience. Imagine kind of there are 9 countries having permanent bases on your country, but because they offer the country, maybe I don't know how much they are giving the country, but they pay rent. But they need to maintain those bases so that they can have strategic view of what's happening in the region. So that one is the board now, where they're playing the game.
What's your most important message you'd like a reader to take away from this book?
Nigeria, though we are being exposed to influences by the major powers, but if we get our acts together, we can come up stronger and become the powers that we are meant to be.
Okay. That's really powerful. That's really powerful. I got the impression that this book, while everybody should read it, I was wishing our leaders would read it more. It's like a very powerful message to those who steer the ship of the country.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
That's my hope, that's my belief, that it should be a book that every stakeholder should pick, every policymaker should pick, and also every student, so that at least we can have informed discussions, so that we can raise national awareness, like I was telling you, and so that we can also begin to think strategically, not just on the level of tactical outlook, but we can begin to think strategically about how the world of global politics plays, especially as it affects us as Nigerians.
Is your book easy to find?
Very, very easy to find, Sir KK. Very, very easy to find. It's on Amazon, it's on Stella, it's on Kobo. It's also in booksellers, Roving Heights, and Sunshine Bookshop.
Yeah, great,
Yeah,
great.
Lagos, Abuja, Ibadan, Abeokuta.
Fantastic. Shadows of Power. Nice to have this conversation with you. Rear Admiral.
Thank you very much, Sake. It's been a very wonderful pleasure, and thank you very much for having me on the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this is where we have to end the show. Time is never a friend. As always, we'll be very happy to hear from you through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. My name is Oluwagbire. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.